This week in comic books, DC gives us Naomi #1, Volume 2. We've all been waiting in anticipation for it, and you came in like a slug being shriveled up by salt. It was, ooh. Over in the land of Marvel, we get some great stuff over in Punisher and in Thor. We're going to take a deep dive into those and kind of really get to some of the things that we used to do here on the channel all the time. Little tidbits of goodness that are in there that we can all learn from. And over in Independence, Little Monsters did the same thing. It's the imprisonment of youth and the nightmare that would become. Oh, God. Remember when you were young? Yeah, now you have money and can do things. We're going to talk about that and a bunch of other comic books right after that intro. Roll it. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? I'm Pocan Joe, and as always, you're pretty cool for swinging by. I appreciate you coming by. If this is your first time here. Basically, I'm a middle-aged man that reads a bunch of comic books, takes a bunch of notes on them, and I try to find interesting little tidbits of things that we can talk about down in the chat. So please feel free to use the comment box down below, the chat room on the side, whatever it is to get your point across, because that's why we're here. Let's dive into it this week with DC, who really kind of let me down this week. So we get Detective Comics number 1056 in here. I know some people are going to be screaming how much they love this. Of course, I went with the movie cover because that car, right? If you saw the movie, that car, right? Car was hot. And then I read the book and I was like, oh, we're still on the thing where we're in the new Arkham. And for some reason, the mayor's wife's involved now because she was a patient there. And then we have this, is it Harley Quinn? Is it not Harley Quinn character running around acting like she's in league with the Bat family? I don't know. And then for some reason, Scarecrow showed back up. Like no hints, no. I guess it was supposed to be a big twist or something, but I was like, oh, we just finished that. Like the costume, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it fit in here. So I found this kind of boring. And even the backstory was kind of a ho-hum thing for me, too. Like, it started off really good and climactic, and then it was like, hey, leave the kid alone and let him do his thing. And I'm like, there's nothing exciting about not doing anything. It does not project excitement to me in any way or a level of understanding. Stagnation never accomplishes anything. But apparently that's what we're going to go with this writer. So I'm going to have to give this one a big thumbs down this week. I'm sorry. Next, Naomi 1. Issue 2 came out. A lot of unresolved answers. And she's always kind of being like there's always something off to the side that we never seem to get to about her home world. And we did it in Volume 1. And we did it in some of the Justice League story, where we're constantly going back to her planet, trying to figure out this villain guy. And in this one, we're like, okay, now we're going to focus on that story. And now we're really just dealing with our personal issues, because there's a lot of them. And I don't need to sound weird when I say this, but she is a teenage girl, right? I could say the same thing about a hyperactive teenage boy, I guess. There's a lot of issues there, too. But I'm not particularly interested in dialogue after dialogue after dialogue of somebody dealing with their personal issues that hasn't experienced life long enough to really have an opinion about anything. Like, that's horrible to say, right? Oh, everybody should be heard. I get that. But you can't provide action through nonsense, right? Let's be honest. We were all young at one point. And let's just say you probably don't believe the same things you did when you were a kid. Or the way the world works, you may see it a little differently. In this one, we're just constantly being projected that she's correct on this and that everybody else is just wrong, including the therapist. I'm not buying that. So I won't be picking up any more of this. Next, we jump into Venom. Kind of the same thing going on in here. We have an experienced Venom Symbiote, right, trying to tell Dylan, hey, Slim, we need to do this. And no, I need to find my own path. I hate it when young people say, I need to find my own path. But why? Why? Like, seriously, there's been generations of people before you that have learned to do things. You should walk down that path at least halfway and learn some of the basis and then create your own path. You don't just randomly one day get superpowers and like, haha, I'm going to be a superhero and everybody's going to love me. And then you go do it and you find out you're the bad guy at the end of the day. Not that that's happening in this story, but Dylan is I don't know, man. He's like a stuck-up little rich kid that's just determined to make his own way. Fine. In this one, he finds himself caught between two gangs, motorcycle gangs. I don't know if you've met motorcycle gangs before, but they're not about to listen to some kid. Like, that's not a thing. For the most part, this was okay of a read. I'm still 50-50 on this series. I think that's just out of just straight. I just kind of want to see what happens next. We get introduced to a new henchman in here, bad guy, if you will. I'm kind of interested in that if it actually does anything other than just stare. All it did, 2 panels in this. So I don't know. That and all the government talk is just boring and inaccurate as well. So I don't know. I'll probably pick up 1 or 2 because I'm a sucker. Next, Strange Academy. I'm really digging Strange Academy, and I really like this one too because it brings up a really good point. So Calvin was pushing this kind of illegal magic, if you will. It's a symbolism for drugs, right? The kids were even taking it in their arm. But anyway, so they expel him from the school, right? So where is he going to go, right? He comes from a poor family. There's no opportunities there for him. So what's he going to do? He's going back to his drug dealer, and now he's working for his drug dealer because now he has inside information. Gaslight in this one, who I'm really liking, and who we found out some interesting information on. Apparently he's extremely old and knows a lot about magic. Like, he's no C-list chump villain, right? We should be expecting some big stuff out of here. Emily and Doyle, again, on the outs. You know, she was supposed to meet him at the dance, but instead she hung out with her expelled, drug-dealing friend. Why does this sound like my high school life? Right? She'd rather hang out with the bad boy and help the bad boy rather than, you know, live up to her commitment, or not her commitment. That is incorrect. Keeping her word by meeting her date at the dance. Yeah, I always have a problem when kids try to get deep into helping their friends. Again, that goes back to where's the experience from? If you're trying to find your own path and all this other stuff, why are you taking advice from other children? Oh, God, I wish I could tell every kid that out there. This doesn't fit in every scenario, I know, right? There are certain circumstances that will change it, but the overall narrative is this. So, I don't know. But I am very interested in this, and I want to see where Scotty Young takes it. I think he does a great job writing children's stories, or stories with children in them, in his whimsical fashion. And the art in it is always a delight to read. Oh, we also kind of get a hint at how powerful Doyle is. Like, he's not somebody to joke with. We know who his dad is, but like, he just like crushed everybody in the cafeteria. What was supposed to be a whimsical food fight in most stories actually turned into a bunch of kids literally trying to kill each other. And then they go and protest because everything's the school's fault. And honestly, it kind of is. Like I'll even back the kids on that one. I'll be like, y'all kind of jacked up. You don't just kick somebody out. Oh, that's horrible. Next, okay, Thor. So we're going to take a quick deep dive on this. I want you to kind of take this nugget, pop it into your head. So Thor, as great as this story was, this was just a surface tone story. This story was really about somebody growing up, putting down their childish toys, finding their place in the world, and then looking at their thing as a piece of nostalgia, right? Think about the hammer, right? Thor's hammer in this. For the longest time now, Thor has been kind of moping about, I don't really want to be the king, I don't know if I want to be the god, right? We've seen him moping around a lot, and just this kind of sad character because he refuses to own and take his place. It's nothing more than a title for him that he could throw at somebody, rather than doing the things that a king needs to do. I've mentioned this before in my reviews of this book, and I really liked it. And in this one, it came to front. It's like, you will take your place in the world and put down your silly little toy and defend and do the things you're supposed to do as an adult now. And he was forced into that, even to the point of crushing his beloved hammer. And after he has to take his little Odin sleep, because that's a lot of energy, right? He wakes up and his sister's like, hey, I got something for you. And they kind of put the hammer back together, and he sets it there, and immediately it's a nostalgic representation of his father and him becoming what he is now, even to the point where he can hear his dad's voice in it. Now, if that's actually his dad's voice or not, that's fine, but I know I have things in my life that I look at and I can remember the conversations from them and stuff like that too. You know, back when I was a much younger man. Yeah, I think we can all agree our comic book collection kind of does that for us, especially when you collect books from like your childhood and stuff and you're able to find them. Or you're digging through a dollar box and you're like, oh, I remember reading this, and you can remember the panels in it. We kind of got that moment in this, and I thought that was great. It's finally Thor being an adult, not somebody just out having fun and doing good things. I'm not saying he never did, but now we have a level of maturity to Thor now, since he has to take his place in the universe, technically. In the universe, I guess would be more a correct statement. That was really good. What did you think of that? Is what I'm really curious about. Please comment down below on that one. Did you kind of get that? Do you see a different take on it? I really want to know. It's been a while since we've taken a deep dive into a comic book like this before, but I really like this. This really resonated. Devil's Reign. So, yeah, of course I'm enjoying this. Right? We got fake Matt Murdock out running around. Wilson Fisk kind of starts remembering that Matt Murdock's Daredevil. Of course, he goes and beats up the clone and drops him like a sack of potatoes. We still got this magical stone thing running around. They're still talking about that. But now we're at our war now, is where we're at. The big clash, right? Purple Man's out running people with his powers. He's got his powers from his kids that kind of boost that. And probably the most hilarious way ever. One of my favorite scenes in here is U.S. agent knocking on his door. One of the purple kids walks up and is like, can I help you? And he's like, son, you need to come with me. And he was like, he tries to use his power. And he was like, yeah, instead of your power, you should have brought rubber boots. And then, Electro Girl, like, shocks all the kids. They bring them all in. I was like, that was great. It was great. This is an enjoyable read. The entire series has been great. I'm thinking about doing a whole just review on 1 through 6. If that's something you're interested in, definitely let me know. We can definitely pull some things out of it. But for the sake of time, we'll move on. Moon Knight. How far would you go to keep your word? Well, Moon Knight legitimately went to jail, went up against, what is his name? Man Mountain, right? A sea-level thug. He's been in comic books forever now. Goes up against him to beat him to a bloody pulp, just to tell them to stay away from your ex-wife and kid. They don't want to be around you anymore, because he promised them that he would do that. And all, like, he had to go through the rankings. It was like a prison tournament fight camp thing. And we get a lot of, if you're a Moon Knight fan, you remember the Wild Dogs, right? That was a thing, and he kind of hinted towards that a little bit. And the fact that, if he wanted to leave, he could leave at any time. But this is his place, right? For now. I liked it. I kind of like that cliffhanger there, for now. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be cool. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. This was just a one-off for the Devil's Reign. It's not particularly important to the story. It's a side story, but it's a good one. Of all the side keys out there that keep popping up for different storylines that had nothing to do with it, this is probably the funnest out of all of them. I definitely enjoyed that. It was good. Oh, it was so good. Very, very violent. Very violent and very to the point. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of imagination needed for this one. All right, next. So this is the controversial issue, right? Punisher, #1, right? And then, everybody's like, oh, they're getting rid of the Punisher side because of politics. Okay, first off, none of that's actual. They didn't know it wasn't because the Marine Corps and police agencies adopted the sign. And if you read this, you kind of should have picked that up, right? They didn't write the story just so they could get rid of it. I did like this, him walking away from his original symbol there. I really liked that cover, and I knew that would be prevalent, so I took that. So what's with this new Punisher thing, right? Well, now he's a member of the Hand. You may remember the Hand. Electro was part of the Hand, a group of Asian, right, inspired assassination ninjas. So it would only make sense that the emblem would adopt, a more Asian samurai flair to it, or at least that's how I saw it. I didn't see anything political to suggest otherwise in here. But what we get is now he's a part of them. We find out why he joined them. We find out that he's more than just a member. He is a significant figure in their group now, calling him the Beast. You remember the Hand is not just like a group of organized business-like assassins, right? That it's a religious cult, is what it is at the end of the day. And I liked that concept of it. I have this fascination with cults and how they work and how people get attracted to them. It blows my mind. And this kind of fits in that genre too. But they offer him something that most cults can't offer, his wife back. And there she is. They kind of played it in the beginning that did she die? Did she not die? Oh, she didn't really die, even showing her bullet wounds on the last panel. Okay, I'll buy it. We can change. We can retcon it a little bit. As long as it becomes ingrained into the story as a key moment. So I really want that to kind of shine in this, not a, hey, we'll give you something if you work for us. There's your pretty wife back, right? It's lazy writing. I'm not really down with that. So on this one, they have a particular mission. They're dropping bodies left and right of all these other organizations that are dealing in weapons like Hydra, and there was the Spartan guys in the beginning of it. They're kind of Roman, I did like the whole blessed be thing they were doing in the beginning, like they were blessed being every stockpile of ammunition they had in there. And as they were listing through them, you caught fragments of like the Prim bullets, and the Prim particle bullets, and the Hulk smashing gun, and all this other stuff. It was great, and I really hope they continue down that train. And it's violent too. Again, not a whole lot of imagination needed for this. You're going to read it, and it is face value deadly. So, yeah, good stuff. Excuse me. Next, Captain America, Captain Carter. Number one. Okay, so I get it. I've watched it over the last 2 years. We swapped the sex of a character to show that, other people can be these things. You proved it. They can be exactly like Captain America. There's no originality to them. There's nothing unique that would make them individualized in any way. If you gave Captain America this suit, gave him a British accent, it would be the same thing. So if it was a point to be proven, you proved it. We'll see how the sales do now, because I'm going to be honest with you. I read through this and I was like, I know this story. I know this storyline. I know bits and pieces of all the storylines in here, even to the point to where if I was the original writer, I would probably call out plagiarism. Right? And I know you hardcore Captain America fans out there know probably the 3 stories they pulled from as well as I do. So this is, I guess, a what if thing. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of something unique about her, and I don't think that happened. All we did was legitimately just gender swap the characters, and in my mind gave it an accent. So yeah, it was boring. Next, you want a strong female lead character and that is badass and wants to do things. If you haven't picked it up, this is all guts, no glory. I recommend this book. This is good. This character has their own personality. We kind of get jumped right into the middle of a situation where we have, and they do this kind of like hidden world type thing, right? Where they're like monsters and vampires and things like that exist, and there's a paramilitary unit that hunts them down, and they got a Splinter Cell portion of it called Cleaners and stuff like that. And we're doing the buddy cop thing where we have the young rookie kid and the old experienced guy who has all the connections. He knows, like, monsters he can deal with. The paramilitary guys are after the Cleaners because they rescued her, who just got turned into a vampire relatively quickly by a meatloaf-looking character from the 80s rocker type era, even though it's modern day. That whole situation at the concert was just absolutely hilarious to me. We get a quirky kid, and she's not like super older either. She's kind of like that in between. So he's in high school, The old guy's obviously a senior citizen. She's right there at university age, right? Um, I love the quirkiness of this story. I think is what draws me to it. Dealing with the hunger of being a vampire with a teenage kid who's kind of a loser at school, and then the grumpy old man who keeps secrets. I kind of like that formula when it comes to characterizations. And then the whole Elseworld thing is something that I have always been interested in. You know, how would you hide a world of monsters and stuff like that? And how are they able to stay hidden? I always like those parts of the story. And this did a great job of it. And she's boss. Like, she is boss. Acting boss is boss. There, I said it. I said it. I'm sorry. All right, next. Little Monsters. Can you imagine being stuck in a prison of infinite youth? Like, oh, like kids. I didn't even like myself when I was a kid. I'm kidding. I've always wanted to tell that joke. So these kids apparently have been in this post-apocalyptic world for about 100 years now because their elder vampires took off someplace and they're just kind of stuck there. And it's boring. They play tag every day. They're constantly children every single day to the point to where if there's any room for growth, it's whole hum, boring, and nihilism, and like nothing matters. Take every day as you get it type thing. You actually saw that these words were used in here, and I thought that was powerful. Um, yeah, this is if you're not a fan of like say Scotty Young's whimsical writing, giving characters these kind of quirky uh, anecdotes to them, or if you read Titan Academy and you're just like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like kids to me, right? You may want to check the Little Monsters out if you're looking for more of the, and I hate to put it this way, but what is life like for if all the kids were trailer park trash? That sounds so bad. I'm sorry. But like when you read these other stories, right, you get the wealthy kid, the well-off kid, you know, and they got like the one broke kid, right? No matter which superhero teen team you go to, right? But what if all the kids were just poor and had to feed off of rats and their lives are playing in a junk vet, you know, and they're vampires, right? What's life like for those kids? That's what you get in this, and that's what makes it so great. And I absolutely love this. This and Thor, top two picks of the week. Great stuff. So that's my haul. That's my review. What did you think of it? What did you pick up? What am I missing? What should I have picked up? Because you'll notice I didn't have much DC, and Independents were kind of scarce. I only buy what's at my comic book shop. So, but if I'm missing something, I'm always happy to check it out. Definitely let me know, and definitely let me know your takes on these books. Captain Carter didn't much care for it. What did you think of it? I would really like to know. Other than that, I don't have anything else, guys. Y'all take it easy. Bye.